Most people don't argue because they care about the truth. They just argue because they're scared of losing themselves, losing their identity, losing who they are, losing who they think they are. All of our beliefs, all of the things that we currently believe on, all these concepts, political, religion, have been developing inside our heads during years. They are defended by our ego, the famous ego. And our ego's goal is protecting it and being right. And it doesn't really care about the truth, but just about being right, because if you're wrong, it just means that you're losing a part of yourself. That maybe you're not as intelligent, maybe you're not that thoughtful, that bright, because you're wrong. And that can't happen. And this is actually why even arguments happen back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. How many times have you actually seen someone say something, like maybe you state a point and they, like a political point, and they disagree? How many times do they actually just say, oh, all right, well, let me think about it? No, everyone seems to be so stubborn, and it's just like throw an argument or an attack, but just say something just to contradict, because they actually believe in what they're defending. But like, they're not even listening. They're just defending their beliefs. And you could say anything in the world and it will still make no sense to them, because the only thing that makes sense for them is defending their belief, what's right, their identity, who they are. That's all they generally care about. It's a very natural thing, and it's very biological. So the main fear is not even that you may be wrong, that the idea you're defending is wrong, but the fact that if this idea is wrong, that means that you don't know who you are. That makes you wonder, if this is not true, what does that make me? Who am I if what I'm stating is not true? It's like you lose a part of yourself. You lose your identity. It's like you don't even know who you are. And you are a fair person. You're really fair. You have so much logic. You know it. You just know who you are, and you cannot accept otherwise. And if we analyze, our ego is actually performing or behaving in a very normal way. Your ego is just scared, and it just goes into survival mode. Like, hold on, I cannot be wrong. I am the smart one. I'm the one that knows everything. But this is exactly the root of why arguments happen with your mom, with your sister, with your dad, with your friend, with the cashier. It's always no, blah 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 blah. It's always like two dogs, if that makes sense. And it's so interesting how in those moments, all you want to do is you just want to be right. And I've realized that with myself, is like, there comes a point in the argument that you do not even care anymore about the idea you're defending, but about the fact that you need to be right. Because if you're wrong, then the other person wins, and then you're like a disgrace, and you have to be right. Because you are fair, and you know what's best. And it's just so interesting when you start to understanding. Because I believe to make small changes, you have to understand those behaviors first. You cannot make small changes if you actually do not understand what's going on in your behavior. You need to understand why you behave certain way in order to be able to control it. And I just wanted to leave this idea of like, arguments are managed by ego, and we're just puppets, and ego trying to protect us just make us look dumb sometimes. I've learned this concept of the identities and all these things in this book, which is The Power of Now. You probably have heard about this book. I actually, and a funny story, which is really silly, is that I wanted to buy the original The Power of Now, but I bought by accident a new version that says Practicing the Power of Now. It's like Practicando el Poder del Aura. It's basically a new version in which they've summed up all the teachings, all the things, all the lessons, all the practical things you can do, and they've just made it into this version, which is more or less same length. But I was just thinking, I just thought I was buying The Power of Now, and I'm not sure how different it is. Maybe it's actually slightly different. I'm not sure. But all I want to tell you is that I found this book very difficult to read. Now, I'm actually really used to reading self-help books, but I haven't read them in a while because I'm in such moment in my life that I need to disconnect. And I don't need to remind myself of the problems that I may have. So when I read all these self-help books, my brain is just reminding me of problems that I didn't even know that I had. And that, in my life personally right now, if we balance it out, is more negative than positive. So I don't really read self-help books, but I wanted to read this one. It was literally an exception. And it was very hard for me to read, and I generally think that it's not me. Hopefully, it's just that it's actually very thick. Like, it will say something very basic. Like, what it says is actually basic. But the way that it says it, I literally have to reread it 2 times and think about it and talk to ChatGPT, like, can we please talk about this chapter, and about this idea, and can you give me metaphors like in daily life so that I can connect with the idea and actually remember after I finish the book. Because it's so annoying reading a book like this and 2 weeks after you're like, what did it say? So I want real life metaphors, because then I am able to actually get the meaning and actually live daily thinking about certain things that may add value into my life. But yeah, it's just a book that you really need to focus to read. It's taking me my time. It's taking me 3 weeks to read this book. Maybe it's not that long, but I just read really fast. It's just that I had to stop all the time. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope it made sense, because I think I wasn't sure if I could explain this topic correctly, because it's just so abstract to me. But I was having a nice latte, and I wish you all the best in the world, and thank you, and be healthy, and I hope I pronounce properly. I always say this because some people say that I speak strange. It's not my main language. When you speak Spanish perfectly, we can talk, because I'm actually talking a language that's not my own language. And to be fair, I think I'm happy with how I speak it, even though I want to be better. But yeah, I just ignore the trolls. Thank you.